Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I had to think about what day it was. Welcome
I know. What is today?
It's Wednesday. And welcome
Wednesday.
to our CutterPillar Part 1 Riley Blake Sew-Along for our November Sew-Along, which is the Tannenbaum quilt. And today we're going to talk about prepping fabric, cutting fabric, organizing and the layout and plan for your quilt, and getting all of your applique, like walking through prepping your applique and getting all your blocks pressed for applique. So that sounds like a lot. It's really not, but that'll give you plenty to work on before we come back on Friday and we actually start stitching down our applique. So lots to do, but I'm obviously not alone. I have Melody with CutterPillar and I have Corey with Linda's here with me. So guys, say hello.
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 Y'all ready to sew? Or not?
I'm so excited.
We're not sewing today. We're just prepping today.
I know. I even got the sewing machine ready and everything, Bethany. And then you said, no, we're not going to sew today. So now it's just pushed off to the side.
I mean, I have mine too. We could if we have time, but we're going to cover a lot of that on Friday. And I just thought to break it up, we're going to prep today and we have quite a bit to do. So any questions in the chat, please leave them in the chat. If you didn't know, and Eric can go grab it, because we wrote a whole blog on it as well. But Corey and I sat down and made like a supply list of things that you're going to need for this project. Yes, the kit comes with all the fabric and the instructions for the whole quilt top and the binding. Yes, in the beautiful box to store it all in. But there are elements that you're going to need, like backing fabric, batting. When we do applique, you're going to need some sort of like fusible, like a heat and bind or different things, seam. So there's specialty needles and threads and decorative things and like all these extra things that you could choose to use. So we put together a supply list. Corey created a link to Linda's with everything on that page, things that we recommend that you can choose from, where you can look at that list and go, I have this, but I don't have that, and pick up just what you need. So there's lots in there. And he's also giving you a discount code, correct, Corey? Is that still going on?
It is still, yes. Yeah. Hold on. Let me check. It should be. I don't think I put, yes, it should be, but I can verify quickly.
It wasn't supposed to stop, but probably good to double check, right?
We've slept since then, so we'll make sure. But the code is Sewalong. Just the word Sewalong for 10% off any of the supplies that you need. You can order it from Linda's. They'll ship it to you so you can sew along with us. Keeps it nice and simple.
Real quick, Eric, the code is Sewalong 10.
Sewalong 10. Sorry about that. Sewalong 10.
Sorry, folks. Yes, because not only does it have so the discount does expire at the end of November.
Okay, so you've
got some time. Yeah, you got some time.
That's amazing.
I love how Eric snatched that back off of the screen so fast. He snatched it really fast back off of there. That was a good job, Eric.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yes.
Before we get started and we dive into this, how's everybody feeling? Are you ready to tackle another sew along? Do you have your Diet Coke and candy ready, or whatever your drink of choice is?
I have my water today, and I just want to say I cheated.
I don't think I've ever seen you drink a water on a live before. It's usually a Mountain Dew. Look at you.
You go, girl. Stay hydrated. So proud.
Actually water. It's actually water. It is actually water.
I've got my Sprite Zero Sugar Chill.
Ooh.
Have you had the Chill edition? It's cherry lime. It's delish.
I want that one.
Sounds so good.
I want that one, but I got the cranberry one.
The winter berry? You don't like it? Oh, I love it.
I got a fridge full of it if you want to come get it.
Yeah, I'll come get it. Yeah. Just hop on the plane real quick to come get the $10.
I want to come.
Come on.
I just want to say that I'm feeling relatively good about this project.
She's ahead of all of us.
I cheated.
Woohoo!
I cut my trees all out.
She's goals right now. So,
and I have my little.
Those are so cute. Oh, she went for the circles too. I have to say, Bethany, and I talked about this last time with you guys, and I am 100% honest on the videos with you folks, which you'll find out eventually. I've never done like traditional applique like this. So this is I've took the cover off the box, but that's it. I haven't done anything past that, so I will be step by stepping with you as well. I've done like reverse applique on the long arm, but I've never done it with all the stuff. So where this is,
it's really fun, and I think you're gonna find that it's gonna open up a world of like options and opportunities. And this is like if you've ever seen anyone do like a scrappy applique where they're like piecing stuff, like it's the same method of like adhering an adhesive and sticking it down and stitching it. I'm making 2 of these. I have 2 of the kits, so I can like step out and do stitch alongs as we go. But we're going to talk about different ways to finish applique. And there's so many options. So as we go through this, you'll see I'm going to show you 2 different approaches to applique that can be very different and give you a completely different look. And it's all about personal preference. That's the fun part of applique. Is like there's no right or wrong. It's just getting yourself set up to do whatever you want to do. And I'm going to show you lots of options. So lots of embellishments. Or you can choose not to embellish, and there's a totally different way to do it. Okay, let's talk about fabric. Real quick, I think several people said, Sue's got her coffee. She's ready to go. Let's see here. If I'm the only participant here in the chat, go rogue. Sue, that's hilarious. That's too funny. Have you ever used a scan and cut to cut the trees? Okay, Lindell, great question. So there's things like Cricuts, Singer Momento, scan and cuts. There's so many different cutting machines out there, and we can talk about that a little bit. I'm not going to use that here in this tutorial only because it's not something that like not everybody has. So I want to follow this like in a traditional format for those who don't have it. But yeah, you could. You could totally use, actually I talked to Eric about it because our template here, the trees aren't bad. Cutting the trees aren't bad. But if you've noticed, we've got a lot of circles that you can choose to make in this. And there's 7 per tree, 7 times 25. You do the math. That's a lot of little circles if you're going to do them on all of them. I think on this pattern, you only do them on a few of them. But if you want, you could figure out what the size of these circles are and cut them out on one of those kind of cutting devices. So I would absolutely choose to do that. We can talk about that a little more. Cutting fabric on one of those types of machines, I would recommend doing your bonding first, which we'll talk about before you go to cut it, because then it's all done at once, which is really nice and makes it easier for the machine to cut it. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to do this number real quick. So you guys are here on screen, but people can see what all we're going through. So we have all the fabric that came in your kit. And one of those is our layer cake with all of these pieces. So if you haven't opened this up, let's go ahead and open this up, and we're going to sort through this. There are fabrics that we need for certain things in here, and then there's additional fabrics that we'll be cutting. Is there a list of the fabric requirements? I'm waiting to get the pattern that I ordered. It does come in the pattern. So when you get your pattern, you'll get the fabric requirements. The fabric requirements will be on the back of the pattern. And then when you open up the instruction booklet, this little outside sleeve comes off. And then you have your applique template. So we'll set that aside. And then you have your instructions. In your instructions, you're going to have this page right here that's going to go through what all the fabrics are. So that's what we're going to go through right now. So if you're watching and you don't, like Catherine, you don't have your pattern yet, just watch and take notes. And then when you get yours, you can kind of go through it and rewatch the video. This is recorded and will live on our YouTube channel, so you can watch the replay at any point. Okay. So we're going to go through this page today, and then we're going to use our applique template as well. All right, so get everything set aside and ready. I've got stuff everywhere.
Bethany, are you putting the little circle dots on all your trees?
I honestly may not do any circle dots.
See, that's what I was thinking, because I'm afraid that I can't cut a circle and make it look like a circle, because I don't have an AccuCut. I don't have something like that. So let me tell you, cut straight on a good day. I'm gonna tell you, if you want to do the circles, like
they don't have to be perfect. They can all be a little different size too. That's the fun of like ornaments and dots and stuff. And when you go to stitch around it, that's where you can help with like making it look a little more even. For me, since I'm making 2 of these, I probably won't take the time to do the circles just because.
That's cute that you think I could sew straight too. That's cute.
Yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, but
I think like
anyway.
I know I'm not going to do the circles. I think that is not in my wheelhouse for this. That's not what I'd like. But I think doing some type of, and Bethany and I chatted about this briefly, and I see people in the comments as well talking about it, doing different types of like buttons or like little pom-pom things or things like that to make those ornament looks without having to physically cut them out.
And we're going to talk all about that. We can talk about that at the end of today and so that you guys can prep for Friday. We're going to talk a lot about that on Friday when it comes to applique. Melody, look in your home to find a circle, like a bottle cap or something. Yeah, you could totally, use something else besides this.
That's a really good idea, and I really appreciate that idea. I can't draw straight. When I was doing my trees, I don't know how you're going to show how you did this, but when I was tracing my trees, I was using a ruler the whole time because I can't draw straight either.
That's fine.
It's the cutting. It's the cutting that I'm sure I can't do straight.
Y'all, if you don't know, Melody's camera has a mind of its own, and it just like zooms in on her.
I'm sorry.
Hilarious. It's so funny.
I thought I had it figured out. I've learned what the problem is, though, Bethany. Side note, I've learned the problem is that I talk with my hands way too much, and
I feel like it's a setting you can turn off on your camera, and we just need to figure out how.
I checked; it is not. I don't think I can. I might be able to, but I don't think I can. But I've sort of tried to figure out.
Do you have one of those OBS bots?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you have to download this software thing to do it.
Yeah. I've learned some of the hand gestures, but I talk with my hands so much that's part of what happens, and that's why it does that. But I'm learning. It's okay. It's fine.
All right. So if you have your pattern in your box, go ahead and get this page out. We're going to walk through this page together. I think that's going to be really helpful to just go through this page together. So this first section at the very top where you see all the different colors, that is referring to your layer cake. Okay. And you're going to open that up and we're going to sort through our layer cake, which I've already sorted through one of mine. So we're going to sort through it. You're going to take, go through your layer cake and pull out 20 squares that are either red, green, or black and set those aside. You just need 20. Now, we're going to get the rest of them in a minute, but you need 20. Now, if you want, you could take one of these other pages that has the full quilt and you can see which 20 that they pulled and pull those same ones if you want it to look exactly like this. Okay. Or you can pick different ones. You get to choose. But what we're pulling right now is our trees, the actual tree shape. Okay. So pull 20 of those. And you'll see that I've got those pulled and already organized in order, which I'm going to talk about. And then, yep.
Bethany, are you against, I know the pattern says red, green, and black, but there's something for the yellow for me.
Okay.
And I
love the yellow.
To have yellow.
And you can absolutely, there's going to be leftover pieces. You're going to have leftover squares. I actually was thinking about taking the yellow and cutting out stars and putting those on the tops of my trees.
Show off.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I can still use the yellow without having it be a whole tree.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So there's other things that we can do with the scrap fabrics for sure. Oh, Catherine,
follow the directions.
What now?
I'm team follow the directions. I don't want to think of anything. I just want to do what it says, except for the circles, and not think of more things.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you so many ideas to like add your own spin and flair to this, and that's what's fun about applique. So I'm excited to show that to you guys. but it's all optional. All right, so now that you've got your 20 red, green, or black squares set aside, you're going to go through that same layer cake, and you're going to find that there's a lot of fabrics that have more of a white background or even like a light cream background that aren't as bold. You're going to pick out 10 of those from that layer cake and set those aside. So I chose the ones with the words. I chose this fun one, the music paper, the music notes, more words in the red color, and then I chose to do the ones that had just the red ornaments, not the rainbow ornaments, but you can choose whatever you want. Patricia, this kit, we actually sold this Riley Blake kit on our website, but we're sold out. But you can purchase the pattern from Riley Blake, or you can purchase a kit from another quilt shop or online shop that still has some available. But we sold out of ours last month. But you can still sew along with us.
Bethany, not to interrupt you, but we have like 1 or 2 available on the site.
Well, we do now. I know we got a couple extras for some people.
Because we needed to because we oversold when we sold out of them. And so we got a couple more. I don't know if they're live or not. I'm going to pull out my computer while you're talking and see if they are.
Patricia, if you want to send an email to support@CutterPillar.com, Melody might be able to send you a link to order one of the kits if we have it available. But you'll need to do it while we're live, and she'll be able to respond real quick.
Yeah.
If you're interested in getting one of these kits, because then you can get it and you can watch the replay and sew along with us. I did not know that. So thank you, Melody. Yes. Look at us solving problems today.
We try to solve the problems, and they just showed up back in stock yesterday after we fulfilled the ones that we had oversold. So there's really only a couple of them there.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right. So does everybody have their 20 red and greens and blacks and their 10 whites? Once you have those done, set all the other squares to the side. You will not be using all of the squares in your layer cake. And what's great is those other ones still coordinate with this quilt, so you can make a fun little like quilted pillow, to go with it as you're displaying your quilt in your living room, and you could have a pillow on the couch or the chair or whatever. So don't get rid of those. We can incorporate them in other projects, but we only need 10 of the white backgrounds and 20 of the red, green, and black. Okay. Now, you're probably thinking, if these are my trees and these are my backgrounds, I'm going to need more background and I'm going to need a few more trees because we have 25 trees, and you would be right. So what you're going to do is you're going to find these 2 fabrics in your box. One is with the pine cones, and one is this like vintage, like looks like newspaper almost.
The best fabric ever.
It's so good. You're going to cut some additional 10 by 10 squares out of these 2 fabrics to get the last 5 trees. So you're going to cut 2 of these in this pine cone, and you're going to cut 3 of this fabric with the vintage looking fabric. So that's going to be 3 in this fabric, 2 in the pine cones, making up the last 5 trees. Okay. And they're going to be a 10-inch square that you're going to cut out of each of those. Now, if you're going to cut this, please make sure that you have pressed your fabric. If you have a light spray starch that you want to put on it and press it, you can. This is a great time to do that. But we're going to be doing a fusible on these, so it's not necessary to spray these, but at least press it before you cut, okay? So we don't get any wrinkles. So that will give you the rest of your trees. So you'll end up with 25. I think I've got here's one of my pine cone ones right here. I think there's here's one of my vintage ones here. So you're going to work those in to that. And then for the white background, we've got 10, but we obviously need more. So you're going to cut 15 out of this fabric right here. And I have done that. And I have them stacked right here. And these are 10 by 10 as well. So you're going to incorporate these. They look like little buttons or little circles with letters. So this fabric right here is going to be the rest of our backgrounds in addition to the ones we pulled out from our layer cake. So you should have a total of 25 white background pattern options and 25 tree pattern options that are red, green, and black, or those vintage prints. And that is what we're going to work on today. The other fabrics that are in your box, let's talk about those real quick. This solid white is for the polka dots. If you want to do those, we can talk about those in a minute, but that's what that is for. This black with the ornaments, that's your binding, so you can set that aside. We won't be using that until the end. You also will have some leftover of this fabric right here that we're going to subcut into some strips. So we'll worry about that later. This right here is going to be our border fabric, and that is going to be a directional cut, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. If you want to go ahead and cut it, you can. You can go ahead and prep and cut all of this if you want. I like to kind of do it as I go, so I don't lose any pieces, or like things don't get stretched or lost in the shuffle of my crazy space. So anyways, this is going to be our borders, which you can see right here, these borders here. So that's that. And let's see here. What? Oh, we have two other fabrics that we are going to work with today. And that is this brown and this red. This red is actually in your layer cake, and you'll have some of it be part of your trees. But this is going to be the base of our trees, and this is going to be the trunk of our trees. So as you can see here, here's a tree. We've got a brown trunk and the plaid base. Every tree is going to have a brown trunk and a plaid base. No matter which print it is, they're all going to have the same trunk and base. So we're going to use those today as well. So you can set everything else aside and just have these two fabrics out, your white backs and your tree colors. Okay. Once you have all of that, we're going to work on doing our tracing and prepping our applique. Any questions so far? We are doing 25 trees, Tracy, which, if to make you guys feel any better, I'm doing 50 trees. Okay. So it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Now I've got all my, okay. Can I show you guys one thing I did buy to put on some of my trees? Look at these little wooden star buttons.
Oh, that's precious.
Yep.
I thought it was like very on brand with the vintage. So I did get some of those. Okay. I'm going to get some tools out of my little box of mystery things that we'll talk about later. Oh. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is do our trees for our applique. And so we're going to go through that first. This is when you're going to need heat and bond. And now I remembered what I was going to grab in my sewing room was a full package of heat and bond. But you can use heat and bond. You can use, what was the other stuff we had listed? Steam-a-seam?
Steam-a-seam, or there's embellish, same type of thing. So just kind of whatever works for you guys, whatever you've kind of already got for the fusing that you need.
Yeah. The key here is it is a double-sided fusible that is going to adhere our pieces to our material, holding everything in place so there's no shift and we can stitch around it really easily. The key is making sure that they're adhered completely edge to edge so that we get a clean stitch on our applique. This is a little scrap piece, but you can see here it's paper on one side. It's shiny and kind of bumpy on the other side. So this is the fuse. And then once you fuse it, this paper peels up and you'll just see this little kind of shiny side on the back of your fabric. You'll see it in a minute, and then we'll fuse that again. So it sounds like you're creating a forest. Yes.
She is. Can I just say that just make sure that if you need to order some of that fusible when you order it, that it's double-sided, not single-sided, because the single-sided that you order that shows up at your house will not be helpful.
No, it won't.
Yeah. I won't tell you how I know that, but it won't be helpful.
That's okay. It's okay. So I use Heat and Bond because that's just what I had on hand. And I use Heat and Bond Light. Well, you can use whatever you have on hand. And mine came in like a big piece like this. And you're going to see that I went through and traced my trees. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. And I did it, I'll be honest, I did it sitting in my comfy chair in the living room. And I have the Premium 2, the CutterPillar Glow Premium 2 light board under here. So it was wireless and I could just sit it in my lap and trace and cut, and it was so nice. So you're going to take your template. If you want to cut this square out so it's easier to work with, you absolutely can. I did not, but I have scissors. I just had scissors in my hand. Here they are. So we can cut this out if you want. Some people like to cut out the template pieces. And I'm going to tell you, there's so many approaches that you can go with this. And I'm going to explain to you why I chose to do it this way. I'm going to tell you other ways that you can do it. There's no right or wrong. The key here is getting the adhesive to the back of your fabric and cutting out your shapes. How you choose to go about doing that is totally up to you. But I'm going to explain to you why I chose to do it this way. Normally when I do applique, I'm putting the fuse, the Heat and Bond or whatever fusible on the back of my fabric. And then I'm tracing out my template once it's already on the fabric onto the paper side. And then I'm cutting it all out at once. The reason I chose not to do it that way this time is because I got to do 50 of these, but you've got to do 25 of these. And if I put, I took one of my, goodness, Melody.
Sorry, that was my glass mat.
That's okay. If I took Heat and Bond and filled the entire back of this one square, I'm going to be wasting a lot of Heat and Bond. Okay. So I thought, oh, I could really kind of get these in here and then I'm not wasting the Heat and Bond and I'm not wasting my fabric because I'm going to cut this out and have all this extra fabric that I could use for other things. Right. So any way to like save fabric and save Heat and Bond, that's why I chose to go about it this way. If I was just doing one small little applique and I was going to be using most of this fabric, I would just put the Heat and Bond onto the back of my fabric and then draw my shape and then cut it out and then press it on, right? But I just decided to go a different route to make the most of the Heat and Bond I had on hand. So in order to do so, I took my template. And you can use it with the gridless mat. You could use it with the gridded mat, or you could use it without the mat at all and just put it right onto the light board because we're not cutting. We're just going to trace. And I lined up my Heat and Bond paper side up. I used my magnets, which is really helpful on the premium because the magnetic plates are like built in. There we go. And then I took a Sharpie and I traced the line for the tree. Now, Melody said she used a ruler to trace it. That's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect because then we're going to go through and cut these out.
That's what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about.
Hey, Melody, is there someone in your background talking?
Yes, my dad and my husband are back there.
Okay. Hey, Eric, can you put her on mute for a minute?
Yeah, I'll mute me till they're done.
Okay, that's okay. Anyway, so you're going to draw and trace your tree, and we're just tracing the tree. We're not tracing the circles yet. We're not tracing the trunk or anything. So just line up the edge of your Heat and Bond to that tree, and then I flipped it to be able to get another tree in there nice and close, and I was maximizing the use of my Heat and Bond. Okay, so this is where our light boards come in so helpful because we're able to trace right on and right through all of this super easily. Once you're done tracing, And you can use a Sharpie, you can use a pencil, you can use a marker, whatever you want, okay? And then we're going to cut these out. Now, you can cut along the lines if you want to, or you can just cut close enough. Like, it doesn't have to be right on the line. And I'm going to show you why in a second, once I cut one out. All right, so here's one that I've cut out of my long piece of paper of trees. So I've got one of my trees here, and I've got one of my blocks, and I'm actually going to swap out my cutting mat for my glass mat or glass pressing mat and put this on. There we go. And my iron is on. So we're going to press this fusible to the back side of our fabric, the wrong side of the fabric. Now, I don't know. This is a great example here. I have got this 10-inch square lined up with the lines on my glass mat. And you can tell that whenever this was cut, the fabric, like the print on the fabric wasn't straight. So it's kind of at an angle. That's okay, but I want to keep that in mind because if I put this straight onto the fabric, then the design's going to be at an angle on my tree. So I may just kind of shift my design here to be in alignment with the print so that my tree isn't crooked. Just curious if you noticed if the trees, tops to bottom, right next to each other would fit perfectly exactly for just one cut. You could absolutely do that when you were drawing them on the paper. I did not do that because I was doing it sitting in my chair and my piece of paper was really long and it was hard to keep it all like perfectly lined up. So I just left myself a little gray space. And like I said, you don't have to cut on the line for this step. We're going to cut on the line once it's pressed onto our fabric. So here I've got it lined up with my fabric, the bumpy side down to the wrong side of my fabric. And I'm going to take my iron with no steam, and I'm going to press that onto my fabric. It does not need to be on the highest heat setting. It does not take much at all. There we go. So I've got it pressed on there, and I'm going to let that one cool before I mess with it. So my fusible is adhered to the back of my fabric. And then we're going to you can do a couple of things. You can take some fabric scissors. You can take a rotary cutter. You could take paper scissors. It's totally up to you. And we're now going to cut out this shape. So we're just going to
Hey, Bethany, I don't know if you see or if the people seeing, because I'm kind of off to the corner. But I have two rotary cutters on my
Can you make him bigger? Just drag and drop him to the left.
Oh, hello. It's a lot of me. I have two rotary cutters on my surface here, and I have them labeled differently, but the one that's P is for Pearson, so that's my one that I normally use. And then when I get a dull blade or it starts to skipping, I switch it into my other handle, which is blank, and that's my paper cutting handle. So I'm never, excess dulling my blade anymore. But then I have a rotary cutter to use to cut paper because it'll still cut through really well. But it's still you're still using those blades that you've got, so then you can line things up with a ruler and then still slice through that. So that's what I use to cut all my stuff.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And as you're cutting into these corners, into these sharp corners here, just be careful that you're not going too far, but it's okay if you do, because we're going to stitch all of this down anyways. Let's see here. There we go. So I've got my tree right here. Eric, can you swap us? Thank you. So I've got my tree, one of them cut out, and we're going to repeat that step 25 times. Okay, so there's going to be some repetition right here, but it's so worth it. Do you leave a tiny gap between the lines and where you cut when you stitch? I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm not sure I understand. Anyways, I'll think about that and try to answer it in a minute. So this is what we have. You're going to do this for all of your trees. I would not take the paper backing off until we're ready to press them down onto the backing fabric. So leave the paper on. You've done one, set it aside. Let's do the next one. But when you do go take that paper off, I'll show you on one of my scraps here. You're going to see that as you take, hold on, let me grab this end. As you take that paper off, see if my hands will get in focus. See how shiny the back of my fabric is? That's that other side of the adhesive. So when we go to press this onto the quilt block, which are those white pieces, then our trees are going to get pressed onto these blocks, and then we can decorate them and stitch them and have all the fun. The reason I also chose to cut out the paper first and then put it on the back of the fabric is look at all of this extra fabric right here. All of this extra fabric that I can save and use for something else. So don't be afraid to like do it this way. If you want to put heat and bond over the entire back of your paper, of your fabric, and press it on and then cut out your trees, you absolutely can. But I felt like this approach, since we were doing so many, allowed me to maximize my heat and bond and save some fabric for some other projects. So if you are a scrap saver like me, definitely go about it this approach. And we're going to keep working on that. Now, when you get done with your heat and bond, you may have some scrappy pieces like this left over. Don't toss that, because we're going to come back to our template that I have set down somewhere. Here it is. So we're going to come back to our template here, and we need to cut out a bunch of trunks and a bunch of tree stands. Okay, so those are our other two pieces that we need to do. And that is these two fabrics, the brown and the red plaid. Now, there's, again, two approaches. I can put the fusible all over on the back of this and cut out a draw and trace on my trees or my tree trunks, and then cut them out on here, since I'm going to be doing a bunch of them. I could do that, or I could just do them all on here, draw them all on here, and then press it onto the back, and then I'm not wasting all this fabric. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is just kind of go through, draw a bunch of these. And let's see here. These are, let's measure these. I need a little ruler. I have one somewhere. Yeah, they're okay. So what I'm doing, I'm looking at the size of this, because what I could do is put some fusible on the back of this and then just cut out this, because it's a rectangle, and not have to trace it. But it's not quite an inch tall, which is not the end of the world if we make it a little.
Bethany, that's what I did.
Is it? And
that's what I did with mine. I just sort of like measured what I needed and then just kind of cut them all out.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do
I can't cut straight with scissors. So
yeah, totally. Now for the tree stand, I'm definitely tracing those. So let's do a couple of those real quick. And you can use your scraps. So I'm going to place this here. And where's my marker? I think I left my main marker in my sewing room where I was working on these. So we'll use this pen. Actually, no, we won't use that pen. We will use this pen. I like to use a Sharpie because it dries really quickly. All right, so here is one tree stand that I've traced. I am going to come over here and just trace a little tree trunk real quick so we can put one whole tree together. but I'll probably mass cut these later. There we go. So I've got, oh, that turned out really cute. And that's the other great thing, Corey, is like with the light, you can fussy cut where you're placing your heat and bond on the back of your fabric.
That's so cute. Look at her.
Oh, I love it. Santa's perfectly placed.
I know. It's the light board. It's everything just to be able to see.
I know. It's so good. All right. So I'm going to cut out this paper and I'm going to cut this one kind of on the line. Since these are smaller pieces. What's great about this project is it's very scrappy and it's very busy prints. So your lines do not have to be perfect.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we are focused. We are in the zone.
Bethany, how much heat and bond did you need for your 25? I know you did 50, but for your 25.
I haven't traced all 50 yet, but I've done more than 25. My heat and bond was in smaller packs that were folded, and I don't know how much yardage it was. I'd have to go find the paper in the trash. So I don't know. But because I cut it or traced it with like my trees going up and down,
yeah,
I was able to get more out of it. Like I was able to get, I think, 14 trees out of one pack of that heat and bond. So if you're buying your heat and bond at a local store and they're in those packs, you might only need 2 packs to do it. So I'm going to take this little piece here. And you can see, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. All right, so I've got my little piece of heat and bond that I cut out from my the base of my tree and a tree stand. And I'm going to put it on the back side of this plaid fabric. It's on the wrong side. And this is bumpy, shiny side down. And what's great is with this light board, I can go, oh, I want to make sure like I've got these 2 lines or that it's not going crooked, unless you want it to go that way. But I kind of want the plaid to be like centered here. So I'm going to line this up right here and just give it a quick little press with my iron. That's making weird noises right now. I don't know. This is my older one. I've had this one for so long. My other one is still in one of my mini bags I took to my girls' trip last week. So this is my backup iron. Whew.
Y'all's little mic cameo with the rotary cutter sent me. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Is that not hilarious? We had so much fun. We just can't be taken seriously. We had so much fun. So I'm going to that tiny little brown piece. Now, what I'm just doing one little piece for the trunk so we can put one whole tree together. But what Melody was saying earlier is she took like an entire piece of heat and bond, put that on the back, drew all of her and she didn't even draw her line. She just measured how big this little shape is and just cut that out repeatedly over and over. And that's probably the fastest way to do all those little trunks. But I'm just doing one real quick.
Because they're so little. They're so little that I didn't want to try it with my scissors. I just sort of like cut them all out with a rotary.
Perfect. And that's the absolute fastest, most efficient way to do it. I'm just doing one at a time today. One at a time. All right.
That's
so
fair.
This time I'm going to cut this out. So since I cut my heat and bond on the line that I drew, I'm just cutting right next to it, like right at the edge through the fabric. There we go. So we're going to build one whole block of applique today and get it all pressed down. And then what we walk through, you're going to repeat and do for all 25 blocks. And then we'll talk about all the things you're going to need for the next lesson on Friday so that we have all the stuff we need to do. The Friday is going to have quite a bit of homework compared to today. It's going to take a little more time, which is why I planned for it to be on Friday. So you have Friday to next Wednesday to get it all done if you're trying to keep up with the sew along and do it right along with us. Okay. There's no reason you don't have to, but if you're wanting to, I kind of planned it to space it out. Also for my own sanity. Also for my own sanity, because I also have to do them all multiple times. So let's see here. All right, so we're gonna grab one of our white backgrounds. Okay, I'm gonna zoom back out a little bit. So we've got our white background, and let me fix that. There we go. And you're gonna need your tree stand, and your trunk. See how this is coming together? Looking so cute. Corey, how are you doing? I know this is your first time.
I'm good so far. I'm still tracing the trees. I probably should be keeping up with you.
No, you're fine.
I'm just tracing trees and doing well. Doing well.
Okay. If you have any questions, or if anybody else has any questions, this is a great time to let us know. Melody, what are you working on?
Well, I'm cheating and going ahead, but I just want to say something. Like, you're working on the I just set my camera to track me. I'm going to turn off my light for a second. I'm working on my Ultra. If you guys can see that, I'm working on the Ultra with the so the Ultra is the biggest of the light boards, and I'm working on the Ultra, so it's bigger than I need. And I'm working on the tempered glass mat. So the thing about the Ultra compared to what Bethany's got, and I don't know which one you're working on, Corey, but the one that I know that Bethany's working on has magnetic plates already built into it. And so with that, she can use the magnets to help hold her stuff down on top of it. Now, the Glow Ultra does not have that. So what I've done, and this has helped me so much, I just want to show you guys. I've taken the little metallic plates that you could get on our website, and I've stuck them underneath the glass mat, underneath my template right here. So under the glass mat, under my template, the magnets are holding my template to my glass mat. So it stays in the same place as I go through each of these blocks. It stays in the exact same place. Then I've got extra ones underneath the glass mat here that will hold my fabric in place. So then it's not going to move when I go to set my applique pieces on top of the block. And then I can turn the light on, and then I can see the pattern, the template pattern come through most of the fabrics, not all of them, but it's close enough. Like I can see kind of a light guideline so that I can make sure that it's set straight exactly where I want it to be. So it's really good. Like, you can use the magnetic plates underneath your whole Ultra, because the Ultra doesn't have magnetic plates built into it. But if you don't stick them down, because they're adhesive, but if you don't stick them down, you can just set them underneath your glass mat and hold everything in place while you're working on it. And then everything is in the exact same spot for every block you're attaching your trees to.
I love it.
That's my little trick that I figured out. Actually, I didn't. Diana at Laser Cut Quilts taught me that. It wasn't me that figured it out. But
she will figure out how to use anything. Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, if you can switch me back over. I'm going to show how to build these blocks. Okay. So now what you need is your template. So we're going to put that on our light board. Again, like without a light board, this is really challenging to do. So if you don't have one of our light boards like Melody was talking about, I'm using the Glow Premium 2 because it's wireless. So that's a fun feature, but you could do this on the Mini. You could do this on the Ultra. You could do this on the Classic or the Premium. It's totally a project you can do on any of them. So I've got my template. I've got my glass mat because I'm going to be pressing again. So I got my template. I'm going to take one of my white backgrounds. Do you see how there's like a box around my template with a line through the center, both directions? So it's kind of like made a little box to align. It's an alignment tool. Okay. So I'm going to take my white background fabric and put that on top of my template, making sure that it fits into this block here. That's square. So that square around the tree is your 10-inch square. And you're going to want to make sure that you're paying attention to directional fabric. So all of these letters are facing you. They're facing away from me, but they're facing you, but they're facing the same direction as my tree. So I wouldn't want to put these on going like this because all my letters are going this way, but my tree is going to go this way. Okay. So just make sure that if you're using a directional fabric, that you're paying attention to that in your backgrounds when lining it up on your template. Okay. So template here. Now we have 3 pieces we're going to be adhering. We have the tree, and we can see the template through here. We have the trunk and the tree stand, right? So what order do we need to press these onto, right? All right, so let's talk about...
Are you asking?
No, I was just picking up some background noise, so I was just listening to see who that was. Eric, can you mute Melody for a minute? That's okay. I just want to make sure they can hear the instructions. Okay, so to build our trees, we have 3 pieces to adhere, so this is quick and easy. And we can see the template, and I even don't have my light up all the way. It was on the lowest setting, but we can see the template really easily through this white background fabric. Now, I am going to recommend that we put the trunk on first, because we do want the trunk to kind of hide, the top of the trunk to hide under the tree and under the tree stand. Okay, so that if we were to pick an order, that would be the recommended order, is to put the trunk on first, and then you can do these 2 in either order after that. Okay, and you can kind of see in the template that the trunk goes into up under the tree and down into the tree stand. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your little trunk piece and you're going to take that paper backing off, and that if it's not shiny on the back side of your fabric, you did not adhere this down all the way. So, and you need to make sure it's shiny. I've got my fabric lined up, my white fabric. I'm going to place my little trunk piece right here. If you have a couple of magnets, you may want to use it to kind of hold this in place just so there's no shifting. It's always really nice and helpful. See, what's great about the premium is there's so many magnets built in, and you just kind of like put it down and just wait till. And by the way, I am using the magnets through my glass mat, and that's lifted up off of this. That's how strong these magnets are. All right, I'm going to take my iron. I've got my little trunk set in its right spot, and I'm just going to press. I'm not moving the iron. I don't want my material to shift. I'm just pressing. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's on there. That's it. All right, so let's do our little tree stand here. I'm going to take the paper backing off and peel that aside. Place that, line that up using that template, and it's going to go right over that bottom part of the trunk. There we go. How cute. Okay, let's do the tree. I got to move one of my magnets. So I'm going to take the tree and take the paper backing off. It should come off super easily. And it's so shiny on the back. I love how it feels. And I'm going to line this up with my template. Now, as you can see, I did not do the best job of tracing and cutting my template. That's okay. Look, this one kind of comes in a little far, and I can see it's fine. They don't all have to be perfect. It's a very scrappy project. And then I'm gonna press in the center and then press my way out to the edge. Press in the center and slide it out to the edge. Press in the center, slide it up. That's it. Once I've pressed it all down, whoops, I caught the edge of that. And I just fold that back down. There we go. And I'm just gonna do like a quick little press over. Everything's nice and adhered. And that is it. You press those 3 pieces. This is all secure to this background. You can take all of this off. And now I've got this whole block ready for a fun decorative applique. How cute is that?
This is super fun.
See how it can come together so quickly? We're not cutting out a bunch of pieces to then stitch together and line up points and hope that they line up and match. No, we're just cutting out these whole shapes and pressing them on. And you're going to do that process for all 25 trees with all of your tree fabrics and all of your white background fabrics. And once you have all 25 done, then we're going to come back on Friday and we're going to actually stitch this down. Okay. Any questions? Any questions about that? That is the homework. The homework is to just make 25 of these. There's no stitching involved. Just prep, press and cut all of these and get them all ready to stitch on Friday. Okay. Let's talk about what you need for Friday. So we've gotten to this point and we are going to do some fun things. I'm going to show you a couple ways. Let's talk about this. When making applique, you can make all of these 25 blocks, sew all these blocks together, make your quilt sandwich and quilt all over it and be done. And you don't have to go through and stitch every little piece down because you're going to quilt all over it. Okay. That is one approach to doing applique when you're doing stuff like this. You can just do an all over quilting that'll catch all of it and it'll be fine. The other approach, the more embellished approach, as I like to say, is where we're going to actually stitch these down block by block before we piece all of our blocks together and then make our quilt sandwich and quilt it. And when you do it that way, you're going to do more stitching in this phase, but you may do minimal quilting, like stitch in the ditch quilting and those kind of things, or just around the tree kind of quilting. So there's two approaches. Does that make sense, Corey, how I explain that?
I will have to watch the replay because I am so focused on cutting out this tree.
I just thought you might have on quilt. So what I was saying is, like, if we do no stitching for the applique and we just piece all of these blocks together and make the top and then make our sandwich, we can just do all over like dense quilting and not actually do any applique stitching to stitch this down, because that quilting is going to keep it down. And that's totally fine if you don't want to do all the embellishments and stuff. But if you want to do some applique stitching, you can do a star button here. You can put on some rickrack. We're going to stitch around all these pieces. We're going to use some different stitches, decorative stitches. We can do all of that to decorate our trees and secure all of these individual pieces to these blocks. And then when you go to piece them all together and go to quilt it, maybe you're just doing some light quilting in between, or even stitching the ditch quilting, and you don't have to do as much quilting. So you're still going to be stitching. It's just, when do you want to stitch? Do you want to stitch and do all over quilting and not do detailed applique, or do you want to do detailed applique and minimal quilting? It's up to you. But that
sounds like Sophie's choice.
But I'm going to give you have a choice. It's totally up to you.
I know.
And I'm going to show you some fun ways to embellish this. And I think when you see all the different ways that you can embellish, you're going to go, well, maybe I do want to do that, but maybe not for every block. And maybe you only stitch in the ditch around the embellished blocks, and then the blocks that don't have embellishments, you do heavy quilting over. I mean, you can mix it up. Like, you can have fun and mix it up. But let's talk about some of the things that we're going to need for Friday. Find my little red box of goodies here. Okay, so once you have all 25, oh, thank you, Sue. And your trees are going to come out just the same because we're using all the same templates and we're tracing and drawing. By the way, when you get done with these little leftover pieces of paper, you're just going to toss that stuff in the trash. There is going to be a little trash from this project, but that's okay. So let's talk about this. If we're going to applique on Friday, there's a couple things you're going to need. When you applique, we're doing that before we put all of these blocks together, and we're doing it before we quilt. Okay, so this it's kind of thin. So you're going to want some sort of tearaway stabilizer to put behind it for our applique stitching. If you're just going to do a straight stitch along here, along the edge, a minimal stitch, you don't need a tearaway stabilizer. But if you're going to do any sort of like applique stitch, a satin stitch, decorative stitches across the tree as garland, any of that, I would absolutely just put some tearaway stabilizer behind on the backside. And then that's going to secure those stitches. And what that's also going to help do is once you tear away that stabilizer, it's going to stabilize those denser stitches so that it doesn't get wavy and your blocks still lay nice and flat. Okay, let's talk about threads. You can use cotton threads. That's totally fine. But I mean, we could have a lot of fun we could have a lot of fun. We could put some gold shimmer threads in there. We could use this is some variegated thread that you could use if you wanted to. This is some embroidery thread. It's like a rayon. I've just pulled out some reds and greens that I have. This is a fun rayon thread. It's a rayon. It's got a nice shine to it, commonly used with embroidery, but I love it for a satin stitch or decorative stitches. You can use just a cotton thread and we can have some fun with it. Here's another red that I found in my stash. Here's some greens I found in my stash. You could outline it in like this, like I got this like charcoal kind of color. You could outline so it looks like you drew with a pen. You could outline it if you wanted. So there's so many things that you can do. I even found a gray that I could outline it with. So if you wanted to kind of look like you sketched around all of the pieces, that's really fun too. You may want to find a brown to stitch down this. You may find something that you want to use on these. It's totally up to you. I love a sparkly thread. This is actually called glitter thread from Premier. Hey, hold on one second. There we go. This is a glitter thread. It's a metallized polyester is what it's called. It's got some fun texture to it. It's not the easiest stuff to sew with, but when you're doing just little bits and pieces, it can be a lot of fun. So we can play with that as well. Now I'm going to move all of this aside and I'm going to grab, where did I put it? Hold on. Oh goodness. I keep moving stuff around in this room. Well, I'll go find it in a second. I ordered these little glitter thread. Yes, I ordered these little wooden star buttons, like 2-hole buttons, so I could do some little wooden stars at the top of my trees. So any sort of embellishment off of it. If you want to do these circles in the white fabric, you can. What's really fun is if you did these circles and you put a couple of them down on your tree, you could then use some of these pretty different color threads to stitch in them and add some color to it. So they don't have to stay white. They could have some decoration to it. I've got the little wooden star buttons, which I'm going to show you how to attach these without hand sewing. We are going to use our machine for all of this. I couldn't tell you the last time I hand sewed a button on, unless it was one that had a post in the back and didn't have the holes. Then you'd have to hand sew those on. But your machine can hand sew these 2-hole and 4-hole buttons. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I am going to go find real quick. Give me 1 second. Where did I hate when I move stuff around. Hold on 1 second.
Real quick, while Bethany's doing that, another benefit for when you're cutting around your pieces, and Eric, if you want to, thank you. Working with a smaller rotary cutter. So this is if you're using a rotary cutter to cut around your trees on the backside, this is a 28 millimeter. So it's going to be a little easier for you to get into those points without slicing too far. And then I totally forgot I had my swivel, and it probably would have been smart to use it at the very beginning, but CutterPillar does make a swivel cutting mat as well that can sit on top of your board. So then I can just work around this easily by swiveling this section. And then I've got my Quilter Select ruler that keeps it in place. So then I can just cut and then rotate whatever direction I need to without having to move anything, which I think is super cool. And
I
then
love that you two are using rulers. And I just went ham on it and didn't use I didn't place with a ruler. I didn't cut with a ruler.
You know me and the rulers. I've got to have one. You know me.
I was so scared to cut it without a ruler. I was way too scared. I do not cut straight.
I don't either, but like I don't know. I'm like, it's scrappy. But the swivel is really nice. Great call out on the swivel. All right.
Yes.
I have 2 other things I want to show you guys for embellishments. So Eric, if you can switch it over. Thank you. Okay, so imagine I have my little star here at the top. I got my stars off Amazon. So just I made sure that they were at least, what size are these? Oh man, I'll have to look it up.
Bethany, look at the tree.
I know. It's all so good. It's so good.
It's so good. Oh gosh, it's beautiful.
Let me see here. I can tell you. One second. Because you want a star that's big enough, but not too big, right? Like we're gonna have it kind of in this area, because that's my seam allowance here.
For that size, I mean, for the way that it's made right now, that's your seam allowance. But guys, you can also, like, you'd have to get a little excess fabric, but you could also throw sashing in between these, kind of like it looks on page 3 of your pattern where it has all of the blocks spaced out. You could have that little sashing in between, maybe put a white sashing or something in between, and then you could do larger star buttons if that's all you can find.
Yeah, well, it was hard to find bigger ones to begin with.
Really?
And this is 20 millimeters, 5-point wooden buttons, and they were like, it was like a pack of 50 for like $9. So I just ordered them, and I could even paint these different colors if I want to. Sorry, my dog just woke up from her nap. All right, so let me show you a couple other embellishments. So if you don't want to do the white circles and cut all of those out, what if you chose to add some like fun rickrack, maybe some red or white rickrack or different color rickrack? I think for this green tree, I'd actually prefer a red rickrack, and you could do that back and forth across it and stitch that down and put some fun little garland on your tree. See what I'm going with here? This little like
so cute.
Fun little, and it's just adds texture, and it's super fun, super easy. Now here's another option. Let me unwrap this real quick and show this to you, because we love an embellishment. We love a moment. Let's see here. Where's the end? Here we go. Maybe we do something with like these little, like, do you see how cute this is?
Oh my gosh.
Little pom-pom. So maybe we do a little pom-pom number, right? And we stitch that to here, and then we cut it, and we do another one that comes down to here, and we can go back and forth with that. So rickrack, pom-poms, ribbon, have fun.
I wonder if I won't be here Friday, but maybe next week, whenever we get to the embellishment part, I could show how to do making bias tape with the sasher tools, and you could work it down it as well using some of your leftover fabrics that you've got from here to create a faux rickrack.
Yeah.
We should do that. That would be fun.
That would be perfect. So yes, have fun. Look at what you have in your stash. Look at ribbons, look at rickracks, look at these little pom-poms. I got these off Amazon too. I like to use these in my binding. So I'm actually probably going to put this in my binding as well. But anyway, so super fun. Another way to add texture. And I'll go over on Friday how to stitch all of this down. If you stitch the trims down with the glitter thread, it would be magical. Yes. And I probably have
other very magical.
I have a sparkly white thread that I could stitch this down with. So it would add a little sparkle without highlighting the stitches. Cherie, worry how it will wash. Linda, great question. Let's talk about that for a second. Remember how I said there's 2 ways to applique and quilt this? You can do heavy applique and embellishments, and then light quilting, or vice versa. You just do all over quilting to stitch everything down and don't add any embellishments. If you are planning to use this as like a cozy up, cuddly quilt, which it's only a 58 by 58, so it's not a very, very big quilt. But if you're planning to do that, then you may not want to add buttons and rickrack and embellishments. That is a choice. Mine will probably either hang over the back of a couch or hang up on my wall on my quilt clips and not be something I cuddle with. So for me, I want all of those extra little adds of flair, pieces of flair to really make it stand out and pop. It is personal preference. I still think you could cuddle with it. I don't think there would be an issue with washing unless maybe the wooden buttons might be an issue. So for me, it's not something I'm going to wash because it's not something I'm going to use and cuddle, or my dogs are not going to be on it. But if it is something that you're wanting to actually like use and like, my mom has quilts for display that nobody cuddles with, right? Like when you have as many quilts as like we do, like as you keep making these, You'll find that there's some that you just are, they're show quilts in the sense of like you hang them on the wall and everybody looks and admires and their decoration, but you don't cuddle with them. Am I wrong, Corey?
No, there's many that I don't cuddle with.
Yeah.
Many that I don't.
Yeah. So you just have to decide for you what you prefer. On how you want to use the quilt can also be a deciding factor for how you want to approach the applique, the embellishments, or just all over quilting. And there's no right or wrong. It's personal preference. Catherine has a question. Could each block be done as quilt as you go with stitch around the applique with blanket or zigzag stitch for quilting? Okay. So Catherine, there's two parts here. For the applique, what you're talking about is you could use a blanket stitch around the edge. You could use a zigzag stitch around the edge. You could use a straight stitch around the edge, giving you a little more of a raw edge look. You can use a satin stitch that's like a thicker, bolder stitch all the way around the edge. You can use decorative stitches. You can stitch it down however you want. And that's just for like the applique to stitch these pieces down, right? For the quilt as you go for each block, Corey can talk to that, but this would probably be a really easy one to do as quilt as you go because all the blocks are the same size and there's 25 of them. Now you would need extra fabric for the sashing in between because you would probably need to add sashing in between. And then you could quilt each block. Like if you wanted to do quilting around here and stuff, you could absolutely do that and then do the quilt as you go, but you would need additional fabric to do so.
Well, Bethany, can you push your fabric piece away from you a little bit towards the other way? Okay, that's good. Okay, now bring it back up to where you were. Oh, we might have to. Yeah, we could do this. We could do this without having to have extra fabric too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because
there's not really hard points that you have to really watch, except for that top one, but it's still far enough away.
The top one is, let's see here.
How far is it?
It looks about a quarter of an inch, I think, right?
It's a little more than a quarter. It's 3/8 of an inch from the top edge, just barely. And then this one is a quarter of an inch at the bottom.
So if you wanted to if you wanted to do this without having to have extra sashing in the center or wider sashing between these blocks, when you're laying this out on your piece before you press it onto your background square, like Bethany showed you how to do, bring it just a tad closer from the edge on the bottom. That 3/8 on the top is perfect, but the bottom being a quarter of an inch, you could bring that a little up to match the 3/8. And then I can show you, it's called block by block method for quilt as you go. And I can show that how to do that. Oh, now she's got me going. It's in here. It's happening. Yep.
So that's going to be next Wednesday's lesson. So great question for that, Catherine, because you can quilt, like we can applique and then we can quilt the blocks. And then we can do quilt as you go. We can show this a couple of different ways. Like there's so many different ways to do it, but I'm excited to learn from Corey on Wednesday how to do next Wednesday. So Friday, we're going to be adding applique and go through applique stitching and different options on our blocks. And then we'll probably go ahead and talk about if you want to go ahead and sew up all of your blocks in rows and do like a traditional style and not quilt as a go. We'll kind of go over that on Friday. And then after we've done our applique. And then on next Wednesday, we'll talk about doing quilt as you go by block. And then we'll talk about quilting, making your quilt sandwich and quilting around your applique and getting quilting done. And then following Friday, we're going to finish it up with some binding and we'll be done.
Woo. And then Catherine, yes, I'm going to do my applique stitching as part of the quilting, using an invisible thread on the back so you can't even see it. So yeah, I'm going to attack this a different way than Bethany's going to attack it, than a different way than Melody's going to attack it. And that's the point of the sew along. You can see so many different ideas.
So many options. And there's no right or wrong way with applique. I like to stitch everything down with my applique because you're going to see a lot of the back and forth stitching, especially with you'll see I do some fun stitches, but I don't want to see all of that on my backing. So for me, doing it in this stage is the perfect option for me. And then I can kind of manage it one block at a time. But we're going to go through that. Let me just say, these kind of projects right here are the best way to get to know the decorative stitches on your machine. Raise your hand in the comments if you have never used anything other than the basic stitches on your machine. Straight stitch, zigzag, maybe a buttonhole or something at best. But if that's all you've ever used on your machine, but it has decorative stitches, this is a great time to play and learn and have fun with those decorative stitches. That's why they're there. So we're going to break those out on Friday and talk about them and use some stabilizer and fun threads and just go to town and have fun. Sound good? Do you guys feel prepared? Your homework is to make 25 of these. That's all you got to do. 25 of these. By Friday.
I am not prepared. I am not prepared. I just want to say a little thing that I have found. Just a little tidbit for those of you that are using our light boards and our glass mat to do these. We talk all of the time about how you do applique on top of your glass mat, on top of your light board. We talk about it every show we're at, all our lives we do. We talk about it all the time, and it's so good for that. What I'm finding, because I am doing it in the same spot over and over and over and over again as I'm doing these applique pieces, make sure that you let your glass mat cool off in between them, because your glass mat will hold the heat. But if you keep ironing on the glass and you keep ironing on the glass on top of light, keep ironing on it, and it doesn't dissipate that heat all the way before you get it hot again, that heat may transfer down to your light board. And that is not something that we want to have happen. The glass mat is so great with taking the heat. We always joke, like when I'm at a show or something, you don't want to iron your prom dresses on these glass mats. You don't want to do that much ironing on it. Like if you have a quilt or you have something that you're working on, you're giving it a really good press before you put your binding on it and stuff. You're moving to your ironing board to do that. You're using your steam. You're doing all those kinds of things. So the glass mat is meant to like tack it down and iron it quick and those kinds of things. It's not meant for like long-term iron over and over and over again. So make sure that you let that glass mat cool down between every couple of blocks or so as you're doing this, because you don't want that heat to transfer down to your light board, because then
don't need iron on the highest setting either.
You don't. Yes. That's what I found out that I was probably doing wrong.
Yeah, for what we're doing, I have like my iron on like a medium setting, because you're just tacking this adhesive. It doesn't take much to secure it.
Right. Exactly.
Cynthia says, I didn't think I would make this quilt, but changing my mind today. Sometimes you got to see it in action.
Sometimes you do.
And it's inspiring you to learn and try something new. I want to share real quick.
5 seconds, Bethany, going back to the glass mat. If you're using, like, for instance, the Alisos, how they have the little trivets to set the iron on, don't be like Corey and leave the trivet on the glass mat with your iron sitting on top of it. Don't be like me, because then, like exactly like Melody said, the heat transfers through. And then eventually your glass mat starts going like this on your light board, because the mat underneath it has then since warped. And then you have to call Melody in tears that you need a mat soon because you've got something to do. So don't be like me. Leave it off to the side. And that way you don't have to worry about that.
Mine always sits off to the side, and I bring the iron to the glass mat and I take it back. That is a cute tree.
Isn't it? It's adorable.
It's adorable. All right, I want to talk to you real quick. If you were thinking about adding some decorative stitches, decorative embellishments, some trim, there's a couple feet that you might want to consider. I don't have one of them here with me. I'll bring it next week or on Friday, but this is an example of one. This is a clear open toe foot. You may also have a metal open toe foot, meaning that this space right here is really open so that you have more visibility of like your decorative stitch and where it's going. Okay. So this is a foot that you might want to pull out. Yours may look a little different. You may have a metal one instead of a clear one, but it's just nice to have as much visibility of where you're going with these stitches. Another one is if you plan on adding any sort of buttons, that's a button foot right there. That's a button foot. Yours may be clear on the ends, mine are blue. And we're going to use that to attach our buttons if you plan on doing that. You could use buttons here for the star. You could use buttons instead of these white circles. Someone said, "Oh, I may not do the white circles because it's a lot of cutting, but you could get like fun Christmas buttons or different color buttons to put on here. You could even get those little jingle bells and hand stitch those on if you wanted to. And put a little jingle.
Cute.
How cute would that be? So, like again, the options are endless. Go through your stash. Pipe cleaners would be cute on this. And have fun. I mean, you could do all sorts of fun things. We're gonna play. I mean, and the thing is, you don't have to do the same embellishments on every single one. Like I may do this on a couple, but then I may do this on a couple. Then I may just do decorative stitches on some. I may use sparkly thread. I may just use some plain green thread. Like you just can kind of play. Maybe I'll use some fun red thread. The options are endless. There's no right or wrong, but I'm just letting you know that you're gonna be playing with the features of your machine, trying some different feet out that you may have on hand. So we'll be using some of these. An open toe foot. This one's not an open toe foot because it's got this attachment on it, but it kind of looks like this where it's really wide and open. So again, you have visibility of where you're going. So this is kind of a closer version of a metal one, but I just don't have my metal one in here right now. So we're playing with a lot of new toys and tools and learning more about our machines, which I think is always good to know. You've invested.
I feel like I can't wait to start doing that part. Like I'm excited for that part.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. I'm glad you're watching and learning and getting inspired. I think, who was it? Cynthia said she wasn't sure if she would be interested in this quilt. It may not be her style of quilt, but now that she's seen it in action, she's like, well, maybe I do want to make this. Maybe I do want to try this. Maybe I never thought like applique could be so fun. And there's so many fun things you can do. I'm probably going to go over the top with the flare, but that's because I want you to see all the fun things you could do. You do not have to go as far as me. You could go further than me. It's up to you. But have fun with it. Come back on Friday with your 25 trees, and then you're going to have all weekend up until next Wednesday to embellish them. So, all right. Any other questions or anything that we need to tackle? Are we good?
Do you want to drop that blog link one more time to the collection?
Yeah, Eric. Great. Please do that if you don't mind. Dropping the link to the supply list so that people can go check that out and also get any supplies that you might need from Corey. And he has a discount code. Yep. So go get all your goodies. All right. Well, this has been fun. I will see you guys on Friday.
I know Corey and I are just working along. Like we're just working. We're just working
you're
on
so quiet today.
We're so
quiet today. Yes.
You guys are both ahead of me now. I have done the one tree, and I have 49 more to go. So
believe in you.
I believe in you too. You can do it.
It's gonna be some late nights. But please, if you are not a part of our CutterPillar Creations Hub Facebook group, go follow our CutterPillar Hub Creations Hub Facebook group. Join. I'll approve you to join because I want to see your progress pictures. Post your progress pictures. Once you get all of your trees cut out, or if you're sitting there with your light board tracing, I want to see a picture. If you've got your first tree put together, I want to see a picture, or all 25. I want to see where you're at. I want to cheer you on. I want to support you. I know Melody posted some stuff in there recently too. So go share your progress picture so we can all be cheering and supporting. If you have questions along the way, that's a great place to put it in between our lives so that we can help you out as you're working through it. But yeah, go over there, hang out with us over there, see our progress pictures. You can still see people are posting their last sew along that we did with the table runners. Their finished projects. So
also, guys, it is not too late. It is not too late to Hi Mom. It is not too late to sign up to be a VIP for our Better Than Black Friday sales. So that ends Friday, right? Bethany, is that Friday?
Sunday.
So Sunday, right? Because our regular Black Friday sale will start on Monday, the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be no more registering. So make sure you do that. Make sure you sign up for that. because we have, like last weekend, we had a special just for VIPs where if you made a purchase, you get a free fat quarter bundle bag, which was pretty fun. That we did over the weekend. That was, and you only get that if you only get the email with the coupon codes for those kinds of things if you're VIP. So make sure you go sign up for that on the website. So good. Sue, I'm so glad you got your premium too. I love that. That's amazing. But it's great to do that. Yes, Brenda signed up. Yay. Okay. So make sure you guys do that.
This was so sweet. Susan says the instruction adds so much value to the purchase of the kits. Thank you, Susan. That's why we like to do this. We want you to feel confident in purchasing these kits. So yes, go sign up for our better than Black Friday deals on CutterPillar. There's a registration. That registration, what did Melody say? Get you 25% off.
I didn't say that yet, but it does. It gets you 25% off before our regular Black Friday sale starts Monday the 17th, which will not be 25% off. So
so you get to
now's the time to do that.
You get special freebies in your emails just to our VIPs once you register. So always read those emails and once you sign up. You also get entered into giveaways that we're doing with our lives, not the Sewalong lives, but the other lives that we're doing. We're doing like free giveaways like every single time we go live this month. But only VIPs are entered into those giveaways. It's so easy to register. You just pop in your email and name. You can pop in your phone number too if you want to get the text alerts with the codes instead of an email. So fun. Definitely go take advantage, but you only have until Sunday to register as a VIP, and then that is going to be closed. But and then our regular Black Friday deals will be happening starting Monday. But I'm telling you right now, they're not as good as the better than Black Friday VIP deals. You just have to go register to get them. That's it.
Yes.
The lives are fun.
Make sure you do that.
Sue says our lives are fun.
We do have fun. We do like to have fun for that. That's for sure. But yeah, so go do that. Join that. If you guys have any questions or anything, always pop them in the chat if you're on the lives or email us at support and we'll do our best to take care of you. But yeah, like Christmas is coming. It's time to make our Christmas trees quilts and it'll be so fun to have it all the way done by the end of next week. I'm super excited for that.
Corey. Look at how much progress you've made.
Well, I'm flying through them. They're so cute. I love this one.
That one's really good.
I love them all. I mean, I love them all, but it's the vintage fabric for me. The wallpaper looking. I could do a whole one of just these and be a very happy person.
I know, it's so good.
I know, those are so good. I love those. Yes,
Melody, I just want to say I love your tree that you put in the corner of your studio. That's a new addition from Monday Live.
It is. It's still a little bit of a work in progress. I always, when I make my trees, I tend to like hate it first, and then it takes me a couple of days, and then I fuss with it a little bit, and then I like it. So that's sort of where I'm at with that one. I'm in the middle of not sure yet, but we'll see if it changes. It could change, but I wanted it to be a little more subdued than some of my trees because we've got like gingerbread alley going on behind me, so we wanted to keep it sort of like that, sort of neutrally wintry.
Yeah, no, I love it.
You can come critique all my trees at my house, Melody. I decorated 7 of them this past weekend, so feel free to come critique.
Did you get 7 done?
I got
Corey,
7
I'm proud of you. I'm at, where am I? I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With this one is 8. So this is my 8th one this year.
Oh, now I've got to go get another one. So I'm going to call Ray.
Now you got to go get another one.
I know, but that's it.
We've talked about it. I have a little bit more space than Corey does in his place, so I don't know if you want to get too many more in there. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to do, and then I don't know if I'll do it this year or not. But the other one that we have to do is our regular tree that we actually put presents under, which I don't usually do. My husband usually does that one because it's usually full of Star Trek. So that tree we have yet to tackle as well. So 9, including that one, we still have to do. So we're getting there.
With the fact that I have to sew up 2 of these quilts, I don't know if my Christmas stuff's ever going to go up. Normally I'm like a November 1st kind of girly, but I didn't get a chance to do it then. And then I was traveling, and then now I've got 2 quilts to sew. It may be Christmas before I may just not even put it up. Who knows? At this rate.
You know what? This is the thing though. It's fine. This is the thing. Thanksgiving can happen while there are Christmas trees up if you choose to do that. Christmas is still going to come whether you have a tree up or not. My sister doesn't put her kids are all adults now. She doesn't put a tree up at all anymore. Like she just doesn't even do it. So like it's either way is fine. However it works out, it's totally fine.
Brenda says that her
rubber ducky tree.
What? A rubber ducky tree
in the bathroom.
Yes.
That would be super cute.
Brenda, if you're in our Facebook group, can you please post a picture of it in our Facebook group?
I would love to see that.
That's amazing. Yeah, Susan's still in the fall mode, which is totally fine. Brenda wants to know, did you embroider the ornaments? I think that she's talking about your ornaments, but I don't think you did.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I absolutely did not. I think those came from Target. I don't even know. They're actually, I got them, I think it was Target. I can't remember. I had them for a couple of years and I haven't really found anywhere to put them till this year. It's a garland that I cut apart. But they're kind of like crocheted snowflakes, but not hand crocheted or hand embellished in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely not. I think
Lindell's trying to say something about you. Has anyone watched Holiday Hoarders on HGTV?
I'm going to look that up.
For that.
We're going to look that up. Does it count as hoarding if it's put away nicely? Does it still count as a hoarding thing problem? Yeah, no, probably.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah. Thanksgiving weekend is a good time to do it. That's when I do one in my dining room. In case I don't put one in the dining room in case my dining room's not very big, so I don't put one in there till after Thanksgiving usually in case I have to do.
Pamela says my tree has been up all year. I never take it down.
My woman.
Good for you. I love that. I think that's so great.
Diana wants a tour of the trees. Sorry, Eric, but Eric and I are both hitting the same buttons. She said, I think we need a tour of the tree video.
Okay, I can do that. I can try to do that. I can't do it yet because, as Keisha just mentioned, the house looks like I'm a hoarder right now because everything's out. Because everything's staging right now. And so there's bits of everything everywhere. And so as soon as that's all done and put away, I will do a quick video. I'll post it in the Facebook group and you can all kind of take a look at where all the trees are. Yeah. Keisha always likes to do that, Eric.
I love this. My sister used to hang her tree upside down.
That would be fun. I've never tried anything like that. That'd be fun.
I feel like if you have small children or cats, that would be a great way to have a tree without them messing with it.
I think so.
That's super funny. Brenda says that the rubber ducky tree has bubbles for ornaments.
Stop.
Brenda, I know.
Stop it.
I know it was your sister's tree, but if you can have her send you a picture and post it in the group,
we're gonna need this.
We need to see it.
I feel like I'm going to make an extra tree this year. That's what it sounds like to me. That's such a cute idea.
I have a holiday tree that I decorate for various holidays and seasons. It has pumpkins on it that I have sewn and some that are painted by me. I love that you keep a tree up and just kind of like change it out for the seasons. I've seen people doing that.
That would be
Keisha,
so cool.
Okay. Keisha said she would love an upside down tree.
Keisha, if you can figure out how to mount your tree, I'll come up and decorate it upside down. That's fine, but I'm not mounting it. I'm not doing that part. I have to, guys, for those of you that know Keisha, she joined us for our live last Friday. She's my best friend and I have to decorate her Christmas tree for her every year. Last year was the first year, but from now on, I fear I have to do it for the rest of our lives, which is fine. I like to do it enough. So I have to go do hers. While she's out of town for Thanksgiving. So I'll be doing hers. If you can mount it upside down, Keisha, I will decorate it upside down. I can do that. I can wire things to a tree like the best of them. Like I can do that. That's not a problem. I will totally do that. Yes. That's so fun.
Right. Look at this. Brenda says, when my sister's son got married, we made decorated Christmas trees for every table. They were themed. I think my sister and Melody could compete.
That would be fun. Like every single tree that I have is a bit of a different theme. Even in the same room, they don't have the same theme in the same room. So yeah, I can do that. I do put a couple on my kitchen table. There's one in the dining room. There's 2 in the hallway this year. There's 3 in my martini room. So like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
I'm down. Look at us. We spent half an hour just talking about Christmas tree decorations.
Sold.
I love it.
Which I could do any day. So that's so great. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I hope I get I've usually have mine up already, but like I said, I was traveling. We just renovated the bathroom. So like there's still construction stuff. Like I have all new tile in my bathroom. So like there's still like some stuff that has to be done. I think my son's coming home for Thanksgiving. So like I need to make sure his room's cleaned out. Like I'm about to renovate my entire sewing room. So like I'm at this point where I'm like, do I even bother? Or do I just wait until everything settles down and just maybe put up one tree? I don't know. Usually I go all out and I have a bunch of trees too. So I don't know. I'm just not feeling it this year. I'm in a mood. I'm in a funk.
Then it's fine either way. Is the thing.
Yeah, we just fly out to her house then. Yeah. Melody, we should just go to Bethany's and just say this is what we're doing.
So Friday live, everybody will be streaming from my studio here. We'll all be sewing together in person. I'm kidding. That would be so fun, though.
Yes,
that would be fun.
That would be awesomely fun.
Tracy, she's at her house right now. She just needs to take.
I am at my house right now. Yeah. I just need to get them. I just need to get the crazy under control before I dare take any photos of any of them or videos of any of them or anything. So I'm getting there. I hopefully after this weekend I can put all the stuff away. And then I'll be good to go. So yes,
all of my Halloween and fall and all of that has been packed up since the Tuesday before Halloween because I was sitting there in my living room looking at it and I was just over it. So I packed everything up the Tuesday before Halloween and it's all sitting, just waiting to be put up in the attic. But we got to take the Christmas down before we can put that up. And it's just like nothing has gotten done in like 3 weeks in this house. Anyways, that's just how we live. That's how we live.
That's how it goes. That's how it works sometimes.
I'm going to go eat the rest of this bag of M&Ms and finish my trees. And then I will see you guys back on Friday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And we will do all things flare embellishment applique. So get ready to have some fun on Friday. And until then, if you have any questions, put them in the Facebook group, CutterPillar Creations Hub, or your updated photos of where you're at in your process, or your Christmas trees. We want
Christmas trees. Give whatever you got. We'd love to see it.
And we'll see you guys in a couple of days. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.